You ever ask yourself, why am I still single? Not in a desperate way, just quietly, in those moments when you see couples outside or late at night when everything slows down. It's not always sadness. Sometimes it's just curiosity, like, is there something I'm missing? And most people rush to simple answers. You haven't met the right person. You're too focused on yourself. You're just unlucky. But the truth? It's usually more complicated than that. Because being single isn't always about what you lack. Sometimes it's about what you're not willing to accept. Think about it. You've probably had chances, people who were interested, situations that could have turned into something, but you didn't go for it. Not fully. Maybe something felt off. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Or maybe you just didn't feel that connection you were hoping for. And instead of forcing it, you walked away. That's not failure, that's awareness. But there's another side to it, a quieter one. Sometimes you're single because you've gotten used to your own space, your own routine, your own peace. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to compromise. You don't have to adjust your life around someone else. And without realizing it, comfort sets in, not loneliness. Comfort. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to let someone in. Because real relationships, they disrupt that comfort. They require effort, patience, vulnerability, and that's not always easy. Then there's timing, something nobody can control. You might be ready, but the people you meet aren't, or they're ready. You're not. And it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It just means things didn't align, and alignment matters more than people think. People don't like to admit. Sometimes you're single because you've raised your standards, not in an unrealistic way, but in a self-respecting way. You've learned what you want, what you won't tolerate, what actually matters to you. So you don't just settle for attention anymore, you wait for something real. And that takes time, longer than most people expect. When it does happen, it's intentional, not accidental. And yeah, there are moments when being single feels heavy, when you want someone to share things with, to just be there. That's human. But being single doesn't mean you're behind. It doesn't mean you're unlovable. And it definitely doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you haven't found something that feels right enough to choose. And that's okay. Because the goal isn't just to be in a relationship, it's to be in the right one. And those don't come from rushing, they come from timing, clarity, and being honest with yourself. So if you're still single, maybe it's not a problem to fix. Maybe it's a phase to understand. A space where you figure out who you are and what you want, and what you're no longer willing to accept. And when that's clear, that you don't chase relationships anymore, you recognize them, and that changes everything.